If you've been struggling with your weight for a while, paying attention to your diet habits will be the best thing that you can do to get back on track. But for most of us, making changes to our diet is one of the hardest parts of losing weight and getting in shape, if not the hardest part. So in today's episode, I want to walk you through some of the worst diet mistakes that you might already be making that are most likely sabotaging your weight loss goals and some ways to turn things around.
Welcome to the V-Shred Better Body, Better Life podcast, where we help you live your best life while working on your health and fitness goals. We're here to make your journey fun and inspiring.
What's going on? Vince Sant here, co-founder of V-Shred, and I want to thank you for tuning into today's episode of the V-Shred Better Body, Better Life podcast. So today I want to talk about some of the worst diet mistakes that you're probably already making, if not have made in the past, and how to change it so you can get the results that you want. Because whether your goal is to lose 10 or 50 pounds, working on your diet first will help you burn off that fat faster than hours of working out ever could. You just need to make sure that you're not making some huge nutrition mistakes that are leading you down the wrong road, okay? So let's get into it. So mistake number one, and this is a super common one, is skipping meals. And I'm sure if you're listening to this right now and you have a history of struggling to lose weight, you've done this. And generally, the most common meal to skip is usually breakfast, because a lot of people generally aren't that hungry when they first wake up. And so they skip breakfast, and then they have a small lunch, and then they have a dinner, and then they go to bed, and they had basically one meal. They had basically 1.5 meals that day. Well, they do it in an attempt to save calories. And this is not the proper way of going about weight loss when it comes to nutrition, because first off, a huge mistake that people make when they're trying to lose weight with they're starting a diet to lose weight is they cut their calories way too low. I do know people who save calories for later in the day because they know that they're going to be going out to eat after a football game or whatever, or there's a birthday dinner or something, and they know that they're going to be eating a lot of calories. And so they save calories for that dinner. That's fine. But what you don't want to do is completely skip meals on a daily basis to save calories. So it's okay sometimes, not good all the time. Because what you're better off doing is eating smaller meals more times throughout the day, or relying on your few bigger meals with like a snack or two in between. So generally, what I recommend is having your 3 main meals that we're taught from childhood. Everybody's taught breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? But then in between those, what you can do is eat little healthy snacks that make it so that you're not absolutely starving by the time the next meal rolls around. And so instead of skipping breakfast, you're starving for lunch, but you have a small lunch, and then for dinner you eat a massive meal, and then you may binge the rest of the night because you're starving. Instead of that, what you do is you have a nice, lighter, healthy breakfast. And generally, what I recommend for a nice, lighter, healthy breakfast is something that's high in protein, high in fat, moderate in carb. And so what I would say is a couple whole eggs, maybe a little bit of bacon, and maybe some avocado toast. That's going to be high protein, high fat, low carb, right? And whole wheat or maybe Ezekiel bread for the avocado toast would be better. But you have that meal. It's already going to be low in calorie, but it's going to be high in protein, so you're going to fuel your body properly. And then let's say that's at 8 a.m. When 10, 11 rolls around, you're not starving yet, but you're hungry, right? And so maybe you have an apple and peanut butter, right? And so that's just a little something for you to eat, because a lot of times eating for people is just like a nervous tick. They just eat because they're bored, right? And so having something like an apple and peanut butter is a great way to eat something low calorie that's also good for you, that you can get that satisfaction of eating something, but it's also going to help out with your hunger levels by the time lunch rolls around. Because then when lunch rolls around, you can have, maybe you're a salad person and you want to have like a a nice light chicken Caesar salad or something like that. Well, now you can have this chicken Caesar salad and you're not starving after you eat it because you had that snack to help out with your hunger levels in between your breakfast and your lunch. And the same thing in the end of the day. From lunch to dinner, that's generally when I get the hungriest, because I'll have my lunch, I don't know, around 12-ish, 1, and then I won't have dinner till like 7. So that's a pretty long time. What I'll do is I'll have something small, high protein, in between that. And I'll generally have something high protein, high carb for that snack, like a protein smoothie with some banana, some peanut butter, protein, maybe a little bit of yogurt, maybe some oat milk. And I'll have a nice little smoothie, and then that will be my mid-meal snack. And then when dinner rolls around, I'm not starving. I'm honestly not even that hungry. I just want to make sure that I'm finishing off my protein, getting some carb. I also like eating high fat at the end of the day because I generally have not hit my fat intake by then. And so I use my dinner to cap off my macros. And so, but I'm not starving and I'm not worried about binge eating after I finish my dinner because I have, I guess, mitigated the risk of becoming super hungry for those 3 main meals by having the snacks in between. And so the goal is to never go hungry on purpose. And that's exactly what people do when they skip meals so they can save calories. They go hungry on purpose because they think that the less meals they eat, the more weight they're going to lose. And that's just not how it works. The whole starvation diet thing is a myth. And by myth, I mean starving yourself is not how you lose weight. Never has been, never will be, right? You may get results for a week or 2, but then your metabolism is going to slow down because you're not eating enough calories to fuel your body. Your metabolism is going to come to a screeching halt, and you're going to stop losing weight. You're going to hit a plateau, and then you're going to throw in the towel because it's way too hard to stick to, and now you're also not getting results, and then you gain all your weight back. So stop skipping meals and start eating smaller meals throughout the day, or if you want to. And so you could have 5 smaller meals, or you could have like the 3 main meals with like a snack or 2 in between. Depends what you really want to come down to. I mean, you could even go as many as 6 smaller meals throughout the day. It really comes down to total calorie intake, total macronutrient breakdown, and making sure that you don't ever allow yourself to become starving. That's the main thing. Or mistake number 2 is that you're eating quote unquote healthy processed foods, right? And what I mean by this are, and we've all seen it, you go to the grocery store and maybe you're buying some yogurt, or you're buying a bag of chips, or you're buying some cookies, or whatever it is. And it's got that little sticker on it that says low fat, or fat free, or keto friendly, or whatever, right? It's got some sticker on it that, plain and simple, is only on there because it helps sell more product. It is a marketing ploy by these big food corporations to sell more product. Because if there's 2 of the exact same product sitting next to each other and one says nothing and one says fat free, what do people buy? Well, they buy the fat free one, right? And they think that that's healthy. Whereas if there wasn't that fat free one, they might not buy that processed food because they don't think it's healthy. So it's a marketing ploy, and it's processed crap. Because first off, fats are, we just talked about macros a little bit. Fats are essential to losing weight. Fats are essential for burning fat. You have to have fats to lose weight. It's one of the 3 main macronutrients. It's super important, right? Helps with hormones, helps with satiety, helps with a bunch of stuff, right? So you need fats. You have to have fats. But the issue is, like I said, people see this fat-free label on something that they normally probably wouldn't get because it's not a healthy food, but because it says fat-free, now it's healthy, right? It's not healthy. It's still not healthy and never will be healthy. What you want to do is you want to stick to real food. You want to eat clean food. You want to eat whole food, okay? So stop relying on the stuff that can sit in your pantry for months and months and months and never go bad. All that means is the longer that it cannot go bad, the more processing it went through. So make sure that you are not relying on foods that have tons of chemicals in them, and you're eating more real food. You're eating whole foods. You're eating lean proteins that you're cooking yourself. I think the main thing is stop buying stuff that you can microwave or something that's frozen, like frozen foods, and make meals. Cook your own meals. Make your own pastas. Make your own burgers. Make your own tacos. Make your own foods. When you make your own foods, all of a sudden you're using real ingredients as opposed to these big food corporations who are using just a bunch of processed crap. And all of a sudden you're going to start feeling better. It's going to be much lower calorie because if you make your own little breakfast burrito, as opposed to you buy some, I don't know, Jimmy Dean breakfast burrito, that Jimmy Dean breakfast burrito might be twice as many calories and it's going to make you feel like crap. And it's going to have a ton of sodium and you're not going to be full very long. As opposed to if you make your own, it's going to be lower in calorie. You're going to feel better. You're going to be less bloated and you're going to be full for longer. So stop eating healthy processed foods. Mistake number 3 is ignoring food labels. And this is a big one. Now, I don't think that everybody should just rely fully on food labels. I don't think that that's a realistic way for people to live their lives. I don't think that you need to be going everywhere and flipping that thing over and seeing exactly how many calories are in it and going by it, but you should have an idea. And if you're new to dieting and you're new to getting in shape and you're new to your fitness journey, I definitely think that you should look for a couple things on the nutrition label and stay away from them. And the main ones are sugar. So look for added sugars. Added sugars are terrible. And then look at the ingredients list. If the ingredients list has more than like 10 ingredients, do not get it. If it has 20 different names on it that you cannot pronounce, do not get it. You are looking for stuff that has words that you know, and there can be a couple in there that you don't know. That's fine. But I'm generally looking for stuff that has 10 or less ingredients, words that I know, and I'm trying to stay away from foods or ingredients like aspartame. I'm trying to stay away from basically preservatives. And so if I stay away from added sugars and I stay away from foods that have a ton of ingredients in them, generally I'm okay with eating those. I think another issue is like portion control is a huge part of getting in shape. But a lot of times people just eyeball it. And so they don't know what a proper portion is of the food that they're eating. And so looking at the label so the first thing you're going to look at the label before you buy it to see if it's something that you want to buy. If it's good and you want to buy it, then the next thing you're going to do is when you're actually making it, you're going to look at what the serving size is. And make sure that you're sticking to the serving size because a lot of times people will make like 3 servings for themselves and not realize that that was 3 servings. And now all of a sudden they're not losing weight and they're like, why? I'm eating healthy foods. Well, it's because you're eating too much. Okay. Or maybe you're not, but that gives you more confidence that you're not. And so you can look at other areas of your life, of your fitness journey that may be the culprit of why you're not losing weight. So it's process of elimination at the same time. So that's number 3. Number 4, and this is probably the most common one, and this kind of relates to number 1 as well. Number 1 was skipping meals. Number 4 is cutting your calories down too low. Cutting your calories too low is bad because what happens is your body goes into what's known as the starvation response. And this is when your body essentially goes into this starvation mode where it naturally slows your metabolism down so that you stop burning as many calories. So your resting energy expenditure goes down. Your resting energy expenditure is essentially how many calories your body burns without exercise and activity included. So your resting energy expenditure plus activity and exercise is your total daily energy expenditure. So minus those things is your resting. So if you just sat on the couch all day, if you did not get out of bed, you will still burn a certain number of calories. That number of calories, how many calories you burn every single day if you don't get out of bed, is decided upon the speed of your metabolism. If you're not eating enough calories, the speed of your metabolism goes down, and so that number of calories that you burn goes down. And the most calories that you can burn, you don't burn the most calories from activity. You do not burn that many calories working out. You really don't. Like a crazy workout would be like you burn 1,000 calories. That's a crazy workout, right? An average day of just sitting in bed, you're going to burn more than 1,000 calories. You burn most of your calories through your resting energy expenditure. So if you can keep that number high, if you lower the number that you burn during rest, you are screwing yourself royally. So you want to be really careful not to lower your resting energy expenditure. Because yes, how many calories you burn determines how much weight you lose, right? Calories in versus calories out is a real thing. The issue is we as humans are impatient. We want to lose weight fast. And so what do? Well, if calories in versus calories out is how you lose weight, I'm going to cut my calories down to nothing. There is a a fine line where you need to stop cutting those calories. You need to fuel your body. And generally what I say is to be in a 20 to 30% deficit. Start in a 20 to 30% deficit. So if your body naturally burns 2,500 calories a day, a 20% deficit is 500 calories. So you would eat 2,000 calories. And so you'd be in a 20% deficit eating 2,000 calories a day. And if you're eating real food that you cooked yourself, like we talked about, that's a lot of food. So yes, calories in versus calories out is how you lose weight, but you want to draw the line at starting out at a 20 to 30% deficit and then adjusting from there. And you could even start smaller than that. You could start at like 10 to 15% deficit. It really comes down to how drastic you are willing to get with the results. And then like I said, again, listening to your body. That's probably the biggest piece. Mistake number 5 is ignoring your hunger cues. Okay. And this is another big one because I feel like a lot of time people they ignore when they're hungry. And your body is a very smart thing. And I think people kind of forget that sometimes. When your body's saying, I'm hungry, it's because you need food. Not always, though. There's a big difference between, well, I just had a meal, but I'm still hungry, when you're not really hungry because you know you just had a meal, and I haven't eaten in 4 hours. There's a big difference between those. If you're hungry right after a meal, that's cravings. That's hormone related. If you're hungry because you haven't eaten since lunch and it's now dinner time, that's because you haven't eaten since lunch and it's now dinner time, right? So there's a difference. You have to use logic here. But if you're hungry, go ahead and eat something. Just be mindful about what you're eating so that you can feel more full sooner. Because you don't have to rely solely on willpower just to stick with the diet. If you have to rely solely on willpower, if anybody had to rely solely on willpower, they would not last on a diet. I would not last on my diet if I had to rely solely on willpower, because guess what? Motivation is fleeting. Most days, we are not motivated. Most days, I am not motivated. But I rely on discipline, and I rely on making smarter choices when I am hungry or craving something. So instead of ignoring the sensation of hunger, and maybe even extreme hunger, what you can do is you can tune into your body's natural hunger and fullness cues and make smarter decisions about what you're going to eat. Because when you're hungry, that doesn't mean that you have to go eat crap food. If you're hungry on your way home from work, that does not mean stop by the McDonald's drive-thru. It means when you get home, cook up a nice little whole wheat spaghetti and meatballs. That's going to make you feel really full. It's going to be really good. It's going to be high protein. It's going to be a nice carb meal. So it's going to give you a little bit of energy if you want to work out after work. And so it'll be easier just to stick to, right? Versus fighting against yourself all day, every day, right? So ignoring your hunger cues is not a good thing. I think there are better times than others to give into it. Like I said, there's a difference between a craving for junk food at 11 p.m. and being hungry at lunch. Big difference. And so it's really tuning into your body to understand where that hunger is coming from. If you're actually hungry, or are you just bored and you want junk food and you have cravings, there's a difference. And so it's really about connecting with yourself, connecting with your body, and living in truth of whether or not this is something that you actually need to give into. And if you do need to give into it, find a smarter and healthier way to give into it. You don't have to order cookies, but you can have, like I said, an apple and peanut butter. That's a great little go-to healthy snack that tastes really good. I love peanut butter and I like apples. So that's a great little healthy snack if you want to have it. Or I love the flavored almonds. Flavored almonds are one of my favorite things to eat at night when I'm hungry. So there's healthier ways to go about it and better times to give in to those hunger cues. Those are the 5 of the mistakes that you should try to avoid. Skipping meals, not a good thing. You want to have those smaller meals. Thinking processed foods are healthy. They're not. Ignoring food labels, cutting calories too low, and ignoring your body's hunger cues. And so if you struggle with any of these, or you just want some extra help with your diet and your nutrition, I have a team of V-Shred certified coaches that can design your entire meal plan for you based on your body type, based on your goals, And we've had literally hundreds of thousands of people who are already using the custom diet plans or have used in the past, and they're getting real results. And so your coach figures literally everything out for you. You also get unlimited email support, messaging support, food swaps, weekly check-ins, and it's super affordable. So if you do want to learn more about that, just hit the link in the description box below. But other than that, I hope you guys got some good takeaways from today's episode. I had a good time. Thank you for tuning in to the V-Shred Better Body, Better Life podcast, and I will see you or talk to you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of V-Shred's Better Body, Better Life podcast. Whether you're doing one of our programs, taking our supplements, or just doing things on your own, tune in every week for exclusive content with Vince, V-Shred trainers, and special guests as they share valuable tips around motivation, workouts, food, and living a healthier lifestyle. See you next time.